What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. Today, I'll be previewing 2311 Racing as we head into the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series season. So anyways, let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. The first driver we're talking about from 2311 Racing heading into 2025 is Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick is back behind the wheel of the number 45 car for 2311 Racing in 2025. Last year in 2024, Tyler Reddick scored 3 victories in the season, those coming at Talladega, Michigan, and at Homestead Miami Speedway. He had 12 top 5s, 21 top 10s, and was able to make it to the championship 4, and also won the regular season championship, which is the first time that 2311 Racing has won the regular season title. As I also said a second ago, he got to the championship 4, the first time that 2311 Racing had gotten their way to the championship 4. Tyler Reddick had one of the fastest cars overall in the 2024 season. He did fall off near the end of the year, basically in the beginning of the playoffs. He lost a lot of the pace and speed they had early in the season, but as the year progressed and went on, they continued to get better and better. And in the last couple weeks, especially outside of Martinsville, Tyler Reddick really showed up and showed the pace and speed. And this is something that we've been looking for, is him being a championship threat and contender. He really emerged for the first time as a legitimate championship threat and contender. He was pretty solid in 2023, but he wasn't that legit championship contender that we saw this year. He did a great job this year, and we'll be looking to back that up in 2025 once again. Now, going into 2025, you'll have the same crew chief for the 2025 season, as Billy Scott is going to be the crew chief once again. Billy Scott worked with Kurt Busch a little bit, and now we're seeing him once again work with Tyler Reddick for 2025, and these two have gelled together so well. We've seen a lot of success, and I expect that success to continue for sure going into the 2025 campaign. So what are my expectations for Tyler Reddick going into 2025? Well, realistically, I think Tyler Reddick will be a championship contender like he was in 2024. Now, do I think he's going to make the championship 4? I'm not really sure. There's a lot of great competition who I think has a really good chance to make the Final 4. If he doesn't make mistakes in the playoffs and he can build up some playoff points, I think there's a really good chance he could make the championship 4 this year. But I think it's also going to be tougher for Tyler Reddick to make it because some of the drivers I expect to be better than him this upcoming year. But I do think at the same token, at the same time, I think Reddick will be very strong. I think he will get a couple of victories throughout the 2025 campaign, and I think it's going to be a great and solid year for Tyler Reddick. Once again, I expect him to win multiple races. I think he will truly be in the championship conversation. I think there's a great chance and a very strong possibility that Tyler Reddick will have a great opportunity here to win the championship in 2025 going into the upcoming season. The second driver we're talking about from 2311 Racing is Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace signed a 2-year contract extension in the late portion of the offseason and will be back behind the wheel of the number 23 car once again through 2026. Now, Bubba Wallace did not score victory in 2024 and unfortunately missed the playoffs. However, Bubba Wallace, despite the fact that he did not score victory in 2024, he had a career year and a lot of different statistics. He had 6 top 5s, which is the most he's ever had in a season compared to 5 the previous 2 years. He had 14 top 10s, which is the most he's ever had in a season, which is better his 10 that he had in 2023. And he did have a very consistent year for his standards where he had his best average finish up to this point. Bubba Wallace probably should have made the playoffs in 2024. He had a lot more speed than he did in 2023, and there were a couple races in this year, I'm looking back at Michigan, where I think Bubba Wallace was a legitimate championship threat at times, but I don't think he will most likely be a championship threat, but I do think that he's going to be pretty solid. Now, going into 2025, he is going to have a new crew chief for this upcoming year as Charles Deneke will be taking over as Booty Bark will move to another part of the organization for 2025, moving up to the engineering side of things most likely. Charles Deneke, who was the crew chief, of course, for Christian Eckes in the Craftsman Truck Series, will move up to work with Bubba Wallace in 2025. I think Charles Deneke is going to take Bubba Wallace to the next level. We have seen crew chiefs in the Truck Series gel very well in the Cup Series. I look at guys like Rudy Fugle, who's done a really good job with William Byron. I think that's going to come into place for Bubba Wallace in 2025, and I think that these two are going to gel very well and very strongly next season. So, what are my expectations for Bubba Wallace going into 2025? Well, I think Bubba Wallace will do better than he even did in 2024. I think Bubba Wallace will score the most top fives he's ever had in a year. I would not be surprised or shocked if he gets close to 10 top fives. I think he will score close to around 16 or 17 top tens. And I think he will make the playoffs once again in 2025 after missing it in 2024. On top of that as well, I think Bubba Wallace is going to score his third career NASCAR Cup Series victory at some point this year. I think 23 Racing is going to be very, very solid, and I do think Bubba Wallace is going to get better. He has shown so much improvement. He's probably going to run around 5th to 10th most weeks, which is really, really good, but at the end of the day, I think Bubba Wallace is going to be a very solid driver with this program in 2025. I think he's going to be a guy you're going to have to watch out for. He could be an outside championship threat at contender if he could just clean up some of the mistakes and they can bring the setups to be fast throughout the event. I think Bubba Wallace will be for sure a championship threat and contender this upcoming season. And the third and final full-time driver we're talking about today from 23XI Racing is Riley Herbst. It was announced earlier today that Riley Herbst, after months of speculation, will officially join 23XI Racing full-time in 2025. But instead of driving a number 67 car like many had speculated like myself, they're going to use the number 35, which is synopsis to Michael Jordan, who basically played, I believe, in Scottsdale when he tried to go to baseball after initially retiring from the NBA. He will drive the number 35 for 23XI in 2025. Monster Energy is going to join as a majority sponsor for the brand, and he will have Davin Restivo as the crew chief for the 2025 season. Now, when I look at Riley Herbst, I do think he is truly going to be the weak link at this organization. I do think Riley Herbst, though, to his credit, has shown some improvement in the NASCAR Xfinity Series over the course of the last couple of years. In the last 36 of 37 NASCAR Xfinity Series races or something like that, he has scored 3 wins during that time, including a dominating victory at Phoenix Raceway, leading over 170 laps, and had a very impressive run at Indianapolis where he made that last lap pass. But let's be real and honest, the big reason why he's behind the wheel of this car for 2025 is a sponsorship and funding. But like most things in motorsports, especially in other sports, you've got to have sponsorship and funding if you're going to get these rides. As much as Cory Heim would be a really good fit for this team for next year, Riley Herbst is bringing the funding. And he's going to be someone that I think could really help, especially with the funding. They'll be able to get that third charter if they do somehow find a way to have those charters for next season. Now, what are my realistic expectations for Riley Herbst going into the 2025 season? Realistically, like I mentioned a second ago, I think he will truly be the weakest link at this organization. I think he will struggle in the early portion of the season, but I do think by the end of the year, I think he will be a top 10 threat. I think he will miss the playoffs, so I think he will probably be around that 20th to 25th in the points. It is a multi-year deal for Riley Herbst, so he'll have another opportunity in 2026 if he struggles in 2025, which again, I do think there will be some struggles that come along the way for him in 2025. But I'm expecting a very solid year going into 2025 for Riley Herbst, or at least a decent year for him. But I think there's definitely going to be some struggles. But I think both those guys working together is really going to help them out, definitely, for sure. So we'll see how things end up going for Riley Herbst in the 2025 season. But I do think there's going to be some struggles for sure. But I also think we'll have some pretty strong performances, especially on super speedways in 2025. Finally, let's talk about the fourth car, because you mentioned today on Sirius XM, Steve Auletta was on there earlier today, and they did mention the possibility of there being a fourth car for 2025. It's rumored that Martin Truex Jr. is going to run the Daytona 500 in 2025 with 23XI Racing. There's also a chance and possibility that this car will come back for a guy like Cory Heim, who of course is reserve driver not only for 23XI Racing and Legacy Motor Club, but also is in the Truck Series. Many have thought that he should be moving up full-time to the NASCAR Cup Series with this team. I think that would make a lot of sense, but that's obviously not going to happen at this point. And maybe get some people like Herbst, Carl Edwards, or maybe like someone like Eric Almirola get a chance behind the wheel of this seat. But 23XI Racing at some point will be bringing this third car out, and many believe that Martin Truex Jr. and Cory Heim are for sure the two most likely candidates to get behind the wheel of this seat at some point in the 2025 season, as this car will for sure be on the track at some point in 2025. But there's one big elephant in the room that we have to talk about with 23XI, and they've been one of the biggest stories throughout this year. Currently, 2311 Racing and Former Motorsports are suing NASCAR at this point, and it's unclear at this time if they're going to have their charters, because with them suing NASCAR, they currently are open teams. This could lead them to being basically not having a chance to run a race like the Clash. They have said that they may not run the Clash in 2025, as only charter teams currently at the moment are required to run the Clash. So 2311 Racing, the drivers like Bubba Wallace, Tyler Reddick, and Riley Herbst, if they don't want to show up to the racetrack for the Clash, they don't have to. Same thing for the All-Star race. The All-Star race, only the teams that are chartered are required to run it. So they can miss the All-Star race if they wanted to as well, though I do think that they're going to try to run the All-Star race. They could also miss other races throughout the year, even though I don't think that is going to happen. But this lawsuit, especially Michael Jordan being involved in it, I think it's going to be very interesting to see how things play out. Overall, for 2311 Racing, this is a team that I think is looking really, really strong going into 2025. They've got two really, really strong drivers, and they've got a pretty solid funded driver going into their program next year, and might have some other guys coming down the road to help this program in the future. I'm very excited to see what this team will do in the 2025 campaign, and we'll see if 2311 Racing can really step up to the plate and be a championship contender like they were in 2024. So, that is going to be it for the 2311 preview for 2025. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Notifications on soon if when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go below that and comment your thoughts below on today's episode. What are your expectations for 2311 Racing going into 2025? Let me know them in the comments below. Later today on the channel, I have a little bit of an announcement telling you guys we'll be having a Thanksgiving Q&A on the channel most likely. Friday, we're going to have a NASCAR news video discussing news over the course of the last couple days. There will also be some other content dropping this weekend. I'm going to be putting a poll out probably on my YouTube poll to tell you what kind of videos you guys want to see. I've got more team previews dropping on teams, of course, like Junior Motorsports in the future. Trackhouse Racing will be coming very soon. RFK Racing will be coming most likely next week. I've got some other videos on drivers potentially like Haley Deegan, Connor Zillage, Shane Van Gisbergen, and all those people like Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch, and Bubba Wallace, you name it, all coming, and Chase Elliott too, all coming in the next couple weeks as well. Got a lot of great content dropping over the course of the next couple days that I cannot wait for you guys to check out. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.